We've already seen this text, Lenny, but
Right.
I like to focus on this one part
Okay.
where Socrates is saying to Phaedo, the only reason that we should mourn death, that we should cry about death,
Right.
is if the word dies on us.
Right.
And I love that because it's a clear indication that what's really at stake is not whether Socrates will have a psūkhē that
Comes back to life.
life.
Right.
Although many of my philosophy colleagues say that Plato's Phaedo really proves it.
Mm-hmm.
But what matters more is that the words that are launched by Socrates, I'm deliberately saying launched because
okay.
we saw that theoria is a journey of a soul that can be envisioned as a ship traveling to and from the sacred island of Delos,
Right.
the sacred island of Apollo, the
Right.
god of intellect.
Right.
So it's all there, isn't it? But
Uh-huh.
what I want to emphasize is that it's the word that needs to come alive.
Right. Not Socrates himself.
Not Socrates himself, not Socrates' psūkhē.
Right.
There's very little preoccupation about his body,
Right.
which would definitely be there if we were talking about a cult hero per se.
Right.
We're dealing with something here that is beyond the cult hero,
Right.
but it's expressed in terms of how you and I can imagine a cult hero coming back to life after death.
Yes.
Except that here it's not personal immortalization, it's immortalization of the logos, of the
Yes.
word.
Right.
And we know that Plato and Plato's Socrates respect the words that construct the idea of the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And they use those words very accurately. And they
Yes.
use those words very accurately here,
Right.
the way Plato represents Socrates, saying
Mm-hmm.
that what should really be something to mourn, to lament, to cry about,
Right.
to sing and cry and sing
Right.
is if the word itself dies.
Right.
And so how will the word not die? The word will not die if there is dialogue, if there's somebody who will respond to Socrates
Right.
and who will take up the relay
Right.
where Socrates left off. Socrates doesn't try to wrap everything up.
Yes. To
in
be
a
the
nice
definitive
package.
source on everything. Yes.
So many of the dialogues where Socrates is featured as the main speaker are open-ended.
Yep.
And that's because the dialogue must continue beyond Socrates.
Right.
And that's even the point of invoking heroes.
Mm-hmm.
The word comes to the rescue just as Heracles comes to the rescue.
Right.
Not just comes, but runs to the rescue. The
Right.
word will run to the rescue
Right.
if the dialogue continues.
Right. So all those positive social functions, all the poetic functions
Yes.
are now being refocused on the logos.
On the logos. And for
Right.
us,
Yep.
what a beautiful way to come full circle.
Right.
I said to our participants at the beginning that the true hero of this whole experience is the word,
Yep. Yep.
because the word is so accurate. And Plato, Socrates are so faithful to the precision of that word.
Right.
And that word expresses the heroic ideal,
Yep.
the idea of the hero,
Right.
so accurately, so precisely, so perfectly, I might say.
Yep. Nice.
And there's no way to end this. I think of the way Socrates says, well, don't forget to sacrifice to Asklepios.
Right.
Well, that's a sure way not to end it. And we can't end it either.
Right.
Asklepios' story is so simple, I can retell it in 15 seconds. Asklepios discovered the formula for
Rebirth.
immortalization.
Yes.
The gods are threatened, so he gets killed,
Right.
but then he gets resurrected.
Right.
He's a model for resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And when you check in at Hotel Asklepios, as I like to call it,
Uh-huh.
because there were clinics in Socrates' time
Right.
where pilgrims would come and seek a cure.
Right.
And the important part of the cure was experiencing an incubation where you sleep over at the sacred space of Asklepios.
Uh-huh.
And when you wake up, you hope,
You hope.
You return to light and life. You get cured
Right.
of whatever troubled you when you went to sleep.
Wow.
And what do you do when you start an incubation? You sacrifice a rooster. What do you do when you wake up from the incubation? You hear another rooster.
Right.
Um, If I may say,
Uh-huh.
the voice of Socrates is stilled.
Mm-hmm.
He will never speak again
Right.
in our world. But the next voice that responds to Socrates in dialogue will speak, and this will continue in an
Right.
endless cycle.
Right.
And that's why we can't really end anywhere. We
Right.
can just say, let's not forget
To
to,
be
sacrifice to Asklepios.
Yes. Great.
So don't forget, Lenny.
No, I won't forget. Ever, ever.